Hey, this is Angela with this week's Living the Shift. Are you living your passion, and are you living in bliss? That seems to be the theme of the week. I talked about this on my radio show, Living the Shift, earlier this week. And what's come up subsequently are topics around, it's funny, I always get the same thing with clients and with people who I just talk to and have open discussion groups with, and all the same topics all seem to come across in a theme. So the theme seems to be the second part of that is living your passion, finding, and your bliss. Is that many of us have been convinced that through cultural things, whatever, when we have something that we call our God-given gift, right? Many times we have this passion for art or music or photography or whatever, speaking or writing or whatever. So many times, and this is not just in the realm of the spiritual work, because this also is very prevalent in spiritual work, but I'm talking about in all of this kind of stuff where we are really, truly gifted, or it feels like it comes out really easily for us to do blank. And it makes our hearts sing, and it makes us blissful. The challenge that many have is actually making a living from it. And the reason being that, not because they can't, but because they are convinced and have beliefs that we're not supposed to make money off of what we call our God-given talents. Now, let's talk about that, because we're going to back up a minute. And if we change our perspective now in this shifting time to remember that we are the divine and that we are all full expressions of the divine, our whole entire being, we are the divine and expressions of the divine. And so then the thing is that all that we do, all that we represent, all that we see and look at and do and develop and work at in our lives, it is all God-given. It is all divine. So why would we say that some things can be paid for and others can't? Of course we have gratitude. Of course, part of the whole Living the Shift is living in gratitude for the fact that we are the divine and we've expressed ourselves this way, and that we are coming into our completion of this whole cycle of all of these lessons, that we are so awesome that we have done it to the umpteenth degree. And yay for all of us, because we're all perfect and awesome and amazing, and because we're all one, right? So when we start coming from that perspective, it goes back to shifting our perspective to seeing everybody as perfect and the divine. And all of us are simply reflections of different parts of the lesson, different parts of the path and the journey. So of course we're all amazing, right? And when we start looking at that, and the second part as well, is there pride, humility, what do we call it? Where's the line? So many belief systems says, oh, you need to be humble. Well, okay, we're all of that. We're all of it. And I'll tell you why. If we come from the perspective, and I've said this in other webcasts, if we've come from the perspective that we're all the divine and we're all perfect and amazing and magnificent, then why is there a need for pride and humility? Of course we can be awesome and amazing. Of course we can have pride. We can say, hey, I'm amazing. I do. I'm amazing. I'm magnificent. I'm beautiful. I'm awesome. And so are you. And so are you, and you, and you, and you, and everybody. And what is even more awesome is how uniquely we've come back to remembering that, or we're coming back to remembering that. And so in doing that, we erase that the humility thing is, when we look at the wholeness of who we are, many times it's the ego that creates pride and humility. It's the ego that says that there's something that has to be better or worse than the other. Instead of just saying we're all amazing and all awesome and all perfect, the ego tries to create a hierarchy. And that's where pride and humility come from. Oh, well, you need to be humble because there's something greater than you. No, actually, we're all part of that huge greatness and magnificence. So I sort of went off on the side there, but this is really important. When we come from that perspective and we accept the fact that we are amazing, of course we can make money doing what comes so naturally to us and what brings us bliss, because that's what we're here to do. And we have tried to separate, and that's all the separation and duality that we've done throughout this existence, and we've separated this perception of work and pleasure. And we've created this perception that it has to be separate. Like, we can't play and work at the same time, right? Well, why not? Why can't we? I feel like I'm playing in what I do every single day. I love it so much. I could do it all the time, because to me, it's not like work. It's not hard. It's not, challenging, because that's what we've decided that we needed to create in the term of work and what work means to us and the definition of it. So we've also been told that we have to work, meaning it has to be a challenge. It has to be hard to earn money. And then we put all of this energy around money. We put all this energy around, like, oh God, all these things. Money is the root of all evil. Money is a necessary evil. Money's all about greed, all kind of stuff. Well, let me just tell you right now, all energy that is behind money is very individual for each one of us. It is whatever energy we give it. Money is just money. Money is just a thing. It's like this cup here on my desk. It's nothing different. And what we have chosen to do is we've chosen to exchange money as a certain value for something else. Like we used to do for gold, or we used to do in bartering. Bartering is coming back in a big way, and bartering is actually really popular right now, becoming more popular. And you know what? It's very useful, because here's the thing. If I have services that you want and you have services I want, then we can just sort of exchange services of equal value. So then we don't have to find the money or currency or whatever that we need to buy it, because then we have something to exchange instead. That's all money is. It's currency. All currency is exchange. And we can take money for something, we can take something else. We can take gratitude for something in exchange. We can take love, although love is unconditional. So that's sort of something that we're adjusting as well. We can take, gratitude and hugs, and we can take a dinner. We can take some other service. We could simply take a thank you. And yet we can also make a living at it. Right now in this world, we are still living on currency. I can't pay the electric bill with a hug. And I've had this come up a lot of times, because also what happens is when you come into things like spiritual work, like what I do, you have many that contend back and forth, like, oh, well, it's spiritual, so we shouldn't charge for it. And I'm going, well, everything's spiritual. And that's all the effort. That's all the shift. The whole shift is about going from this fact of separating things and putting compartments or anything, and realizing that we are simply spirit. We are oneness, and we are the divine expressed here. And this is simply, the reality that we create, and everything around it is created so we can put whatever value we want on anything. But it's all spiritual. So we try for eons and eons and eons, belief systems and everything else, we've tried to separate the value of spirituality, but yet, priests get paid. I know, like, monks didn't, and all that kind of stuff, and there's, like, just basically where they live and stuff. But here's the thing. We're integrating this into the whole world. Everybody is spirit. Everybody's spiritual. This is the shift. That's what it's all about. And when we do that, when we start living it, it's just a part of our life. So all people who do spiritual work are doing, of providing the service of helping you remember how to do that in some way, shape, or form. Bringing spirit into your life. And it's no different than going to a lawyer, going to a psychologist, it's the same kind of thing. We're providing you services. So that's where, people get caught up, and that's like one level of this. That's one level of the whole spirituality thing, and then, the bliss and the passion and the money. Because here's the next thing, is then people have said, well, but this is a God-given gift, and I feel guilty asking for money for it because it's God-given. And I'm like, of course, well, you're God. You're the divine. Everything about us is God-given. Everything about us is the divine. So do you feel guilty to make money, period? Do you feel guilty asking for something? Do you feel guilty, allowing yourself to receive? If that's the case, that's what's preventing you from making money and doing it. And the ultimate goal, my understanding is that the ultimate goal is for us to step into our truth. And when we step into our truth and find it is blissful beyond blissful. And it shouldn't be work. We should enjoy our lives. My understanding is we're coming back to bliss and living in bliss all the time, 24/7, every day of the week, and we deserve it. So find what brings you bliss. Find your passion. Find what makes your heart sing, and do it, because you will. When you do that, you are on the path to your ultimate soul's purpose, or you are finding your soul's purpose, and the universe will do. And it's in Paulo Coelho's book, The Alchemist, when you decide on what you're going for, the universe conspires to help you, conspires to make it happen. And that's what happens is when we remember our bliss and we can let go of all of the self-limiting beliefs in the situations that are preventing us from doing it, then the universe says, you know what, I'll help you let the rest of it fall away, and I'll bring you everything you need. I will bring you what there are just stories upon stories upon stories I can tell you about people who have done that and started following their passion, following their bliss, and surrendering to their higher self, to spirit, and saying, yes, I trust I will be taken care of in the highest and best way. I am abundant in all positive ways. You know, I am financially abundant and abundant in joy and peace and happiness and bliss and health. And that's all I require, and I'm letting that out there. And guess what? It just happens. And I promise you it does. It's just getting to that point that allows us to do that. So repeat after me. I am allowed to follow my bliss. I'm allowed to be passionate. I'm allowed to make money doing what makes me passionate. I am allowed to do that. I'm allowed to receive an abundance of prosperity in all ways in my life. That is the goal at the end of the day. And when we do that and we get there and we find that every day, every moment is bliss and fun and joyful, then we start wondering, why did it take me so long to get here? Because that's really what's happened to me. And I see it happening to others as they grasp onto that. And we let go of the energy around money. We let go of the energy about limitations and saying when we can do something that we're passionate about and when we can't. What we can expect. Because there is no one more abundant and prosperous than somebody who is doing what finds them bliss, what that gives them passion, because it's what we came here to do. And you can believe, then you throw away all of the paradigms, all the boxes of what the expectations are in terms of how much we need to make and all that kind of stuff, because you know what? The person's life is perfect because it will always find them what they need. So your homework this week is to think about that. Think about, do I even know what my bliss is? Do I even know what my passion is? And do I have the gumption? Can I release all of the self-limitations to allow myself to pursue that dream? So that I can be in such bliss of with myself and realize my divinity and step into my truth, that the whole universe will just fall into place. Do I even know what that is? And many times we don't. Many times it's step by step. So it's sort of like, well, I've always wanted to do this. This makes me really happy. Okay, well, so then try that. And even if you try it on the side, on the weekends, whatever. And then you say, okay, I want to find a way to expand that, or my next step. And that's when we start working with that higher self and trusting and asking to be shown or given or understand or told, what's my next step? What's my next step in the highest and best way to bring me great, in grace and ease, amount harmony and joy, that bring me bliss and all that kind of stuff. You can do that. And that's simple meditations. You don't have to be practicing spiritual practitioner or anything else. You can energetic healing practitioner. You can just simply do it in meditation. You can just simply do it with intentions. So that's your homework for this week. Ask yourself, what is my bliss? Am I following it? And what's my next step towards my ultimate bliss, my ultimate soul's purpose? Because they're intertwined and they're one and the same. And I'm going to let you go. I'll talk to you next week. This is Angela with this week's Living the Shift.